Here we are again. We're traveling. We're on another road trip. Sky trip.
Yeah,
How about that?
Sky trip.
We're
We are here at the Rio Palace, Cancun, in beautiful Cancun, Mexico. Right back here, you see the beautiful Caribbean Ocean behind us. And I want to start by saying I'm wondering how many woos we're going to capture on this podcast today, because the woo girls are out in full force down by the pool behind us. So I think it's going to be really funny to see how much woos we catch.
I think Angie coined that term, woo girls.
Oh no,
right?
That definitely isn't mine.
Oh no, okay.
I heard it from somewhere.
The only place I've heard it was from Angie, but there was actually a woo guy yesterday.
There was a woo guy.
There was a woo guy, so it's very uncommon to hear a woo guy.
There was first woo guy ever.
Yeah.
So it's been a great couple days here so far. The weather's been perfect. I'm looking forward to getting home though, and back on the road next week to beautiful Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. We just had a 2-day workshop, Friday and Saturday. We served powerfully.
But it was by far the most powerful workshop. Our Choose Your Destiny Live Intensive. It was by far the most powerful and impactful workshop we've ever hosted.
Yeah, I feel amazing about the contribution that I made to the lives of people. I feel really fulfilled in how I served and how we served, because the room was awesome. The room was energized. Angie and Cara Dossi did a great job of putting the event on and scheduling and making sure everybody had what they need. And it was like, from our team's perspective, it was the greatest the greatest session where we showed up. We showed up for people. And what we're going to talk about a little bit is is how things don't always go the way you envisioned, the way you planned, the way you dream it up in your own mind, and we get to work through that. So, but we just had our workshop Friday and Saturday. Sunday we got on a plane, and what we learned is that those things are, in the moment for me, they are extreme energy draws. I get energized, I get pumped, I get excited, I get fulfilled. But immediately after, a couple hours after even, the drain hits, and all the energy that I've drawn in just seems to leak, I guess, in a healthy way. And we what we learned is we need a little bit of a couple days to just have emptiness and recharge, and that's why we're here. So Sunday we got on a plane, came down to Cancun. We're here for 5 days, 4 nights, 5 days, whatever. It's something like, we're leaving Friday, and then we're off to Baltimore next week to take our younger daughter to her first Ravens game in my hometown of Baltimore.
Our first Thanksgiving, well, we've only spent one Thanksgiving outside of our family home, and that was to visit family in Louisville, Kentucky. But this is going to be our first Thanksgiving ever being somewhere it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be neat, new experience.
Our older daughter is going to see her boyfriend, and so we weren't gonna have our whole family together anyway, so we said let's take our daughter Megan, and let's go and spend some time at a Ravens game. So it's gonna be fun.
Katie will be spending Thanksgiving with the Topeka Scarecrows with Mr. Quinn O'Reilly, and Megan will be partying up with mom and dad in Fells Point.
That's right. It's gonna
be very exciting.
Eating crab cakes.
Crab cakes for Thanksgiving this year.
And seeing where our relationship, let's say, where our relationship originated and blossomed. Not always in a good way, in the most healthy way, but where our relationship blossomed. And,
but we've made it healthy the past couple of years. We've been going back home.
Yeah, for sure. We've taken all the toxicity out of the relationship and reconnected with our roots. But look, here's what the last few years have taught me something. I'll tell you what it taught us, but I want to express kind of what happened and what's unfolded. A couple years ago, started having a series of workshops called the Choose Your Destiny Live Intensive. And we've done one just about every quarter for the last 2.5 years-ish, maybe, something like that. Maybe even 3, maybe. But when we started having these workshops, I would teach. We'd have pretty much been in the same location, except we did one in New Orleans. But in each intensive, we would serve for 2 days, give, and then invite people into our mastermind. And ultimately, at the end, when we would invite people in our mastermind, people would join our mastermind, and that is how our mastermind grew. And for about 2 years, holy cow, it's like each mastermind or each intensive, the mastermind grew, and it was a great mechanism. And then for some reason, the impact was still there, but the invite wasn't as quite effective. The invite got more powerful, but the results from the invite became less and less potent. And our mastermind stopped growing in the same way. And it got less and less over time until this last weekend, I was assured, because of the impact that we had in the room.
And we could physically see people having emotional transformations in that room. Like we were witness to it.
Yeah, there were lots of tears. There was lots of laughter. There was
lots of hugging. Lots
of connection.
Yeah.
From the first day to the second day, people were different, and the entire energy in the room was different.
Holy moly! The second day, the room, everybody was, there were people in different groups and standing around and laughing and connecting and sharing their experience from the day before and
hugging. Yeah.
My mind was blown. I remember I actually texted one of our clients, Suzanne, and said to her, I said, holy heck, the energy in this room, because she asked how the workshop was going.
Yeah.
So the energy's off the hook in here this morning.
It was
beautiful.
I had not felt, and we've had good energy in those rooms, but I have not felt the energy like that in those rooms. It was powerful, and it was almost like, I don't know, it was almost too much to handle in some cases, and maybe that was the issue, because at the end, when we invited people into our mastermind, nobody joined. A lot of people expressed interest. A lot of people took information packets, but nobody joined.
Yeah.
What was your takeaway when that happened? And because I remember seeing Kara on the side of the room. Kara, what her role in that session usually at the end is to get people registered, and usually there's a line of people at Kara, or a couple people, and she's engaging and interactive. And what I remember is just seeing Kara off to the side by herself, like kind of twiddling her thumbs. What was your takeaway? Where were you mentally and emotionally, even spiritually, when that happened?
Confused. I was confused, and the good thing was there was no. I didn't feel like any emotion, like stress, anger, anxiety, or whatever, but I was just confused because it's like, holy heck, like, just confusion, and it's still there. It's been a couple days, and I think
for sure.
You and I, we go on these trips, and this isn't. There's not a lot of surface level crap we talk about, and we've been kind of talking through this the past couple days. Was just like, what the heck? Like, what's being asked of us? Where are we being asked to go and serve differently? Are we being asked to? I don't know. I mean, within our mastermind right now, we're getting really deep into the soul sciences and digging into our gene keys and our human design and our natal astrology. And I mean, my women's text thread is going crazy with everyone coming up with all of the things they're learning about themselves while utilizing those tools and analyzing dreams through ChatGPT, using your design, and it's just wild. And I see this power of all this information, these teachings that we do, and so it's just confusion. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. What about you?
Same thing, and that's kind of why with this we're not in this episode. We're not looking to we're looking to help you understand where we are in terms of the work that we're doing, because we like to teach from messiness, not mastery. All right. So if a teacher, if a coach, if anyone ever teaches from a place like they have it all figured out, run as hard and as fast as you can away from them, because there's nobody that has it all figured out. All right. Everybody's in a place of growth and evolution, and things sometimes go the way you dream them, and sometimes they don't. And in this situation, exactly right. It was confusion. It was confusion. It was, when we put it all together, the work that we're doing inside of the mastermind is the most powerful it's ever been. The community is more connected. The mastermind is the community of the mastermind is more connected than we've ever been. We're doing better work than we ever have. More impactful work. More aligned work. We have more aligned students in there. The workshop, people registered, It didn't take a lot, for people to register. A lot of people were registering voluntarily without a lot of work. So it seemed like there was a natural draw and a natural attraction to the workshop. So it was like, okay, if people join this easily for the workshop, there's an alignment happening. And while the mastermind is aligning, this is going to show us, the continuation. What I expected is a continuation of the alignment of the work that we've been doing to get into an authentic place, a powerful place with the message that I have inside me, the message Angie has inside her to share with the world. And when all of that, lined up except the outcome, it was very, very confusing. It was very confusing because I'm doing nothing differently right now than I did all those years for things to happen and grow.
And in fact, I think we're doing, the workshops are being run more in alignment with how
100%.
we teach within the mastermind now, because there was a time where we weren't doing a lot of the, you're focusing a lot on teaching the nervous system and the nervous system work and understanding that, the somatic healing stuff. And we didn't really do a lot of that in the workshop. So then people would get into the mastermind, and then we would introduce these concepts and these tools and things to them, and they would be like, "Oh my gosh, what is this?" But we're very, very clear about the work we do in these workshops.
And we're doing
no
the
surprises.
the work in the workshop that we do in the mastermind, and that we invite and our retreats, and we invite. And there's an alignment that's happening, but for some reason that result hasn't occurred according to our preference and our expectation. And I think that, for me, that is the purpose of this podcast episode. Is I just made a Facebook post this morning. I said, in all those years where I took credit for the results at the end of the workshop, where people stood up and people joined our mastermind, almost like, look what I did. And when you continue to do the same thing, maybe even more powerfully, maybe even more aligned, when the results don't happen, if you take credit for what's happened, then of course there's a natural evolution, a natural, outcome of taking the blame for when it doesn't.
Right.
When in reality, if life doesn't want you to move in a certain direction at a certain time, in a certain way, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And it's constant that, and this is the word that I've been using a lot, is surrender, right? In our intensive and in some of the work that we do, and all the work that we do, we talk about a simple concept where we can get clear about exactly what we want in our life and create a vision for what we want. And most people know exactly what they don't want, but they don't know what they want. And that's why most people are living a life where they settle for circumstances and for outcomes. So we get clear about what we want. That's for me, that was the easy part. But what this is showing is the how and the when, and I teach this, are none of our responsibility and none of our business. And when I have an expectation, and I set an expectation that people are going to stand up when I ask them to jump into mastermind or invite them in, and they don't do it, what I'm trying to do is force an outcome of the when and the how. Right. And that leads to disappointment, because things are completely out of our control. We've been taught to hustle and grind and make shit happen, but in reality, that you can only move energy so much in this world, and you can't make decisions for other people. Any thoughts on that?
Not really. I mean, you said it very well. Again, I'm just, and there wasn't disappointment in me, and there wasn't disappointment in you or the outcomes or blaming you for
there was a little disappointment immediately, but then I worked through the disappointment pretty quickly just to get back to a state of confusion. And what is this teaching us?
And we both been working on reconnecting our relationship with God and asking God for guidance, and God, where are you?
This is guidance, all right.
Where? But what is it? Like, tell me.
We're getting the guidance, and I woke up this morning, and I woke up at 5:30, and Angie was still sleeping, and I just laid there for a little bit and said, all right, God, look, it's go time, it's jam time. Come on, tell me, let's go. Tell me what's going on here. Tell me where to go, right? And I used to say this prayer years ago, and I used to say it daily. Tell me who to teach, where to find them, and what to teach them. right? Just let me know, and then people would show up. So, surrender. Maybe it's time to go back to that and stop trying to force outcomes and control outcomes. But what I've also learned over the last 10 years is that the next chapter that I have planned sometimes isn't the best chapter for us. And sometimes there's a better chapter, a more meaningful chapter, a more aligned chapter, a more fulfilling chapter. And because I'm setting a course, the limitations within my limited perspective of this universal dance keep us smaller than necessary. So it's kind of a balance between creating a vision, right? Because back in 2016, just wanted another job, right?
Right.
The next chapter I had planned was for me to get another job.
Yep.
So that was from my little limited perspective of what I was capable of what was available to me, and kind of where the direction of the energy in my life was going. So sometimes it's just better to get out of the way and let life bring you opportunities, right?
And therein lies a challenge.
Therein lies the challenge. And that, my friends, is surrender. And listen, the ego does not like surrender.
No.
Not at all. The ego wants to control. The ego wants to make shit happen. The ego wants to be responsible for things happening. The ego wants to be able to predict the future. The ego wants to be able to control reality, because, and I said this on our community call this morning, is life is not difficult. It's lack of trust in life that makes life so difficult. And it's that trust, surrender, deep surrender, spiritual surrender requires a deep amount of trust and faith in life, in yourself, in God. And when we look back at our lives, right, 27 years together, but I'm 53, you're 47, there's a trail of breadcrumbs that you can look back with perfect clarity and a perfect understanding. You can look back and you can tie all the breadcrumbs in the trail that they led to get here, but we don't trust tomorrow. And we trust that the perfect, not always comfortable, but the path that was laid out before us in the past that we couldn't see with clarity, right? Hindsight's 20/20, but the future it's a little blurry. But the path that you can look back at and see the breadcrumbs that are tied together, if we don't trust them going forward, then of course we're going to try to over control. Of course we're going to grasp. Of course we're going to try to bend reality. Of course we're going to give in to the ego and allow the ego to try to assume a control and authority and play God in the world. Yeah. Right? Of course we're going to, let our ego get in the way.
Yeah, we have, and that reminded me of, we have some clients right now in the mastermind who are going through some pretty significant challenges in their life.
Sure.
And after we got off our mastermind call last week, I believe it was, I was kind of tuning into her energy, and because I could feel her fear as she spoke on the call that day. And so I sat down and I just kind of just dove into it and tapped into it. And the message that I got, and because it was a message, I won't remember this verbatim, but it was, what if every challenge, obstacle, sudden uncertainty that God sends your way is not a test from Him to see how hard you can push through the challenge, but how you can trust God that the challenge is purposeful.
Yeah.
Something like it was, but his question to you is, trust, can you be and let God be and not do.
Yeah.
Something like that. But it was just, maybe it's just beingness right now.
For sure.
And a lot of our students are in that place. I get our text strings every day are stillness, beingness, quiet, contemplation.
Human being, not human doing.
Yeah.
Right? Give up control, surrender and allow.
Yeah.
Instead of force, right?
Yeah.
Deep levels, deep levels of trust and of faith and of surrender. And maybe that's the
that's our season.
Trust and faith.
Trust, faith, stillness.
Yeah, on the community call this morning, you know, there's trust in God, and then there's trusting God, right? And they're different. Sometimes there's a gap. And the bigger the gap between that, the more fear there's going to be, and the more grasping there's going to be. Yeah.
I like that.
So anyway, just wanted to share where we are right now. And again, I hope you understand that the Inner Wealth, the Inner Wealth podcast isn't just about us telling us, you guys, about how great everything is and how much we're winning in life. We share from messiness, we share our struggles, we share our challenges, and we invite other people to come in and just be real with us. Just be real with us. And there's still people in the Inner Wealth Mastermind where I know the biggest challenge that they're going through, but they still haven't shared it with the rest of the mastermind, because there's that part of their ego that they're protecting, and they're hiding, and they're keeping secret from other people. And it's not my place to go and tell the mastermind, but they're withholding it because there's maybe a shame, or maybe some guilt, or fear, or some insecurity that if we share our messiness, then we'll lose everybody in our life. But I really do believe that when you share your messiness, you gain people in your life who accept that we're all messy together, we're all learning together, we're all perfectly imperfect together, we're all going through something at some time, and none of us have it all figured out. And one of my favorite spiritual teachers, his name is Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he's no longer with us, but he said, when there's nothing more for you to work through in this human form, you'll turn to pixie dust. So if you can see somebody in their human form, it means they've got work to do and they're working on something. Don't ever think that there's somebody in a body, there's somebody here in physical form, there's somebody as a human being that's not working through some sense of challenge, obstacle, or evolutionary path.
Yeah, and I think it's important too to know to realize that by sharing your junk, your messiness, the trash of your life, that gives others permission to do the same. You know, you never know by sharing those things who you impacted. Like it's validating. Like, and that's why I talk about when Brian Schroeder talks about his when he almost hit bankruptcy.
His darkness, yeah.
And it's like that him doing that was huge in our entrepreneurial journey.
That gives people hope.
It's like, oh wow,
right?
okay, so if you're at this high level now and we're just starting out, then wow, okay, so it does do this. It doesn't just go, you don't just shoot to, the entrepreneurial journey isn't one big mountain to reach the top. It's a freaking roller coaster.
The times in my speaking journey, and Angie was there for all of them, the times in my speaking journey when I had the most people that wanted to connect with me after the speaking event, it was when I was at my most vulnerable and raw and sharing more of the shadow shit, because when we share our shadow shit, it helps other people feel more normal, more natural, more aligned, and I guess less broken.
Yeah.
And I said a billion times over the 2-day intensive, you're not broken and you don't need to be fixed. There's some just evolutionary journey and evolutionary stuff that we're all working through, and we're all working it together.
Yep.
Any parting shots?
I don't think so. I think I love having these conversations, and I actually enjoy sharing these things, because I don't ever want anybody to look at us like we're got it all together, because we don't.
Nope. All right. Well, guys, from Cancun, we just had a conversation today a little bit about, are we traveling too much? And we've never had that conversation before. It's almost like we're kind of fatigued from traveling. And we set this vision years and years ago, and now it's like, holy crap, do we need to slow down a little bit?
Okay, but to be fair, in the vision, we said one beach trip, one desert trip, one mountain trip, and then Europe per year. And we've been to the beach 4 times this year.
Yeah.
Baltimore, we've been 5 times, because we went to the Outer Banks for the retreat.
That's exactly right. And it's almost like when we get home and we get into any place of stillness, we start getting the vacation shakes. We got to get back on the road, and then when we're on the road, we're like, lot.
Yeah, because we'll be recording a podcast from Baltimore, Maryland next week because
Yeah.
we record one every time we go someplace. So yeah, I think after Baltimore, I think it's going to be
Maybe settle in for the holidays,
yeah.
or so we say.
Well, we did tell Brian we were going to come out to Sedona.
Oh, we are going out to Sedona. Yep.
And that'll be next year
Yes.
technically. So that'll be our one
Right.
desert trip for next year. So we'll
There
stick
you
to
go.
our.
We're going to start the year strong.
We're going to go back to our original vision.
Right, and now we were just sitting downstairs, and I mentioned when we're in Cancun January, we both kind of chuckled, but love our life. It's not always comfortable. It's not always, and I'm not talking about comfort as in physical comfort. I'm talking about the journey, the evolutionary journey, the evolutionary path, the spiritual path. It's not always comfortable, but it's beautiful. And as Robin Sharma always says, all change, and we're in a state of change. We are in a season of change.
Yep.
All change is scary up front, messy in the middle, and beautiful in the end. And we're on the little bit of the scary at the beginning because we don't know what the next chapter is
And
going to be.
we've been here so many times before, and
Yeah.
we survived, and we made it through. And there's that trust in God,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Wonderful.
Very cool.
Guys,
So we have our next workshop planned for
we
March
do.
6th
March
and 7th.
6th and 7th,
in St. Charles, Missouri.
2026 at the same place.
Yep.
I'll put the link in the show notes. Love to have anybody who wants to come in and do some really, really powerful, deep energy work with us, some healing work. And we're looking for what that next chapter holds with us, our business. Not us, because we know what our
not us.
we know what our next chapter looks like. But we're talking about the chapter in the business and the chapter in our ability to impact the world.
Yep. Thanks again to Ryu Palace Kukulkan for the accommodations this week and the great, beautiful location. And looking forward to the next few days of stillness, because we have done a lot of stillness on this trip.
We absolutely have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, from the road, we don't know. Maybe the episode will be from Baltimore next week. Might be a little tough to record it, maybe, but maybe we'll get a recording in next week, and maybe we'll be in Baltimore, and we'll just have 2 in a row. We've never done it before.
No, we haven't. Yep. Awesome.
All right. Love you guys. See you soon.